Hi, how y'all doing? Good, thanks for coming.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. It's great to see a lot of you in person. It's been a while since we had an in-person press conference. We've been getting used to Zoom here the last 12 months, so it's good to see everybody. This is a very exciting day for UTEP basketball and for UTEP athletics. We are so thrilled to welcome Coach Golding and his beautiful family. They're sitting here right in front of me, wife Amanda, sons Kason and Chase. Welcome to the Sun City. I think once you all get to know Coach Golding, you'll realize that he is a perfect fit for our storied men's basketball program. In just a few minutes, you'll get to know Coach Golding. I'd ask that you please, everybody, please silence your cell phones at this time. Media members, there will be an opportunity to ask questions at the end of this press conference. If you do have a question for Coach Golding, please make your way to the microphone. I would ask that you please identify your name and media outlet before asking the question so that the coach can get to know all of you. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the man who spearheaded the search that landed the Miners' 20th head men's basketball coach. Please welcome UTEP Director of Athletics, Jim Center.
Thank you, Jeff, and let me echo Jeff's comments. Welcome. We're delighted everybody's here. Thank you for being a part of this historic day as we recognize and introduce to you our 20th head men's basketball coach at UTEP. I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to our search committee. The chair of our committee was our senior women's administrator, senior associate athletic director, and the sports supervisor, Julie Levesque. And Julie's standing over here, and she led our search. Did a great job. Thank you, Julie, for your help there. Standing beside her, who was just at the podium, was Jeff Darby, who is our senior associate athletic director. Jeff has been here a long time, over 20 years, and worked with all of our great basketball coaches over the years. So we felt like his knowledge and experience and understanding of what it takes to win here would really be valuable on our search committee. So Jeff, thank you for being on that and serving and lending your expertise. Greatly appreciated. And Dr. Wilson was also on our search committee and participated, did a great job, and I'll talk about her in just a second. You know, many people have asked me, you know, what were we looking for? In all honesty, one of the funniest comments I've had and heard from people is people say, you know what, you just need a ball coach who can coach and recruit. Oh, that's a novel idea. I'd never thought of that. You know, you can't believe how many times I've heard that. But that's really the essence of coaching, right? You've got to be able to recruit players, and you've got to be able to coach them up. All right? And at the end of the day, it's not about stats. The only stat that matters is if you win or you lose. So let me go down through the list of things that we were looking for. A person of high integrity. We wanted somebody who understood Texas and especially would understand and embrace El Paso and the UTEP community. We wanted somebody, obviously, who can recruit and could demonstrate that they've done that by the type of players that they've had in their program. And that doesn't always mean you're recruiting five-star kids. It means you're recruiting the right young person to come to your institution at that time who feels the need that you need to compete for and win championships. The next thing is a person who can coach at a very high level and has shown and demonstrated success. Obviously, we've talked to a lot of people. Let me just say, out of respect to our media members that are here, don't believe everything that you read in the newspaper or hear on TV or see on social media sites. If it doesn't come from Jim Center's mouth or a press release from UTEP Athletics, it's just a good story until it's been validated. You'd be amazed how many people have said, you're hiring so-and-so? You're doing what? And the truth is, this process went, and as fast as it went, you know, which was very, very quickly, 7 days, it's been quite remarkable. We were still coming up against the 9 and 10 o'clock hour last night, you know, crossing T's and dotting I's and making sure we did our due diligence. So there's a lot of work that goes into this. And I recognize members of the media have a job to do, but it sure is fun to talk about all the ifs and buts, isn't it? And those kinds of things. And trust me, media members, you guys take a back seat to college basketball coaches, because those guys really know how to tell a good story, right? And spread rumors du jour. So it's quite amazing. But we found who we believe is just this unbelievable person. And every single time I talk to people, our committee talked to people, Joe Golding's name continued to come up over and over and over and over. And it's not just because he beat the University of Texas at Austin in the NCAA basketball tournament. And in deference to all of our UT fans and supporters and everything, that was just a remarkable thing. That was kind of like icing on the cake. But the cake of Joe Golden is really the remarkable job that he's done at Abilene Christian University. So, kudos to them and the great accomplishments that they had this year, and really over the last, I'd say probably Coach's best records have been the last 3 or 4 years, but it's all the stuff that he did before that, right? And to use a construction analogy, it's not, people and homeowners never get excited about, when you're digging the ditch for footings, and no one gets excited when you're plumbing in or roughing in the plumbing, right? I see, Edgar sitting there, he can appreciate this analogy, but no one gets excited about that. That's the stuff that Coach was doing when they were D2, and when they were in that probationary period when you can't play for anything, and you're trying to recruit players to a university where they can't play in the postseason, right? That's building the foundation of success. And then along comes the walls and the roof, and you put the finishes on, and people go, "Oh my God, I love my house." Well, and that's what the Wildcat fans have been saying for the last 2 or 3 years about our new basketball coach, who was their coach, right? So kudos to Abilene Christian, their staff, and their players and their team who made it possible for us to go out and find this amazing gentleman. So we're delighted to welcome their family and coach to our family. And before I turn it over, I want to just say this. Dr. Wilson participated in our face-to-face interviews, took 2 days to do that. I am so appreciative of her being involved with this. It is so important, and it sends a message to every single candidate we interviewed that our president dedicated 2 days to face-to-face interviews, and they were long interviews. I mean, this wasn't a 30-minute deal. These were 2-hour interviews, and we asked about every question you could possibly think of. So I'm very, very grateful for her and her vision, in her participation, in her wisdom and knowledge as we selected and narrowed down this group of candidates to our finalists in Joe Golding. So we have struck gold there. But at this time, I'd like to bring Dr. Wilson up just to share a few thoughts with y'all, and then we'll introduce Coach Golding. Thank you.
Jim, thank you, and thank you for your leadership. If there's one thing that we've established, it's that I know very little about basketball. But I do know a little bit about being a former student athlete. And there were a couple of things that I thought that really mattered when we were looking for a new coach. We wanted someone who was a man of character, man of integrity, who could run a good program. But I knew that as a student athlete, I wanted to win. But I also wanted somebody who cared about me, cared about trying to make me a better version of myself, developing my skills and abilities to be better. And I think we found that coach, who's a man of character, who's shown himself with a stick-to-itiveness to build a good program at Abilene Christian, and who fits in with El Paso and UTEP's culture of care, because that's who we are. I look forward to being here for the games and cheering on the Miners. Kaysen and Chase, we're really happy to have you here in El Paso. And I know that over the years, I've forced my kids to sometimes move when they may not have been completely ready to move. And I know sometimes that's hard. And even if you want to do it, there are hard parts to it. But I want to let you know that we're really glad that you and your dad and your mom are coming here to be part of El Paso. And Amanda, welcome to the family. We are really glad that you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the 20th head coach of the UTEP Miners, Joe Golding.
Coach, we want to do this. So Wilson, why don't you stand on one side, and let's put Joe in the middle. You get on the other side there.
It's the only time I'm in the...
All right. We're being instructed to come out front here. Right there.
Miners! It's been a long, actually it's been a long 3 weeks for our family. It's been an incredible journey from Abilene Christian here to El Paso, Texas over the last 3 or 4 weeks, but we couldn't be more excited. Before I start this press conference, and you guys probably want to know how we're going to win basketball games here at UTEP, let me say a few things real quick if you don't mind. First, with research in this university over the last week, I wanted to mention 2 things quickly before we started. One is on Alvin Jones Sr. I know he was very dear to a lot of Miner fans. I know his sons played here at UTEP, and I know with his passing just recently and how important they are to this community. So definitely want to acknowledge him and his family. And then I wanted to acknowledge Daryl Edwards. I did not know Daryl. Obviously, I know Daryl played here for the Miners and was a big part of the 2019 and 2020 season. I would like to say publicly, while cameras are here, that he's got a GoFundMe page set up, and so I know Miners are all about family, so if you have the opportunity to give to that, I think Daryl and his family would be very appreciative. So just wanted to mention those 2 things real quick. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Wilson and Mr. Center for this search. I also want to thank Jeff and Julie. It's been an exhausting week. It's been a quick week, but it's been a lot of fun. When he says it's a 2-hour interview, it definitely was. These guys grilled me pretty good, but rightfully so. They care about this university. They care about this city, and I took a lot of ownership in that, knowing that the president was sitting there across the table and the AD was grilling me the way he did, told me how much he cared about this place. So I want to appreciate everybody on the search committee. And then Mr. Anderson, I know you're in here somewhere, but appreciate the flight over and the opportunity for Chase and Kaysen to fly the plane. We learned an important lesson today about ducks, did we not? We had our duck hat on all day too, but we put on some Miner hats for the press conference. I want to thank my family. Obviously, my mother-in-law's here, Marcia, and then Amanda, my wife. She's been a part of this journey from the get-go. This thing started a long time ago. We've always kind of been under the radar. We did it our way. We didn't spend time with search committees or hiring agents or doing things that other people did. We were kind of on our path of our own. We invested in each other. It hasn't been easy. We've lived in 9 houses, I think, along this journey together, but we've raised 2 beautiful kids, and she's been the rock of my family. And so happy that she's here with me, and she's happy to be in El Paso, but I love you, and thanks for everything. Kaysen, our oldest, is in the 8th grade. Kaysen's a basketball player. He's fired up, so he's on the recruiting market right now for any high schools in El Paso out there. He's a pretty good player. Doesn't have a left hand. When he crosses half court, he's got the green light, he thinks, so he needs a little coaching on that shot selection. But he took his first charge this year at the junior high level and went undefeated. So love you, Kaysen, and excited for you in this journey as part of us. And then we got Chase, the little one you guys all know about, the last child, man. Yeah, for everybody that has children. Chase is the fun one. Chase has got a ton of energy like his old man. He's our baseball player. He also plays basketball, does a little rebounding, does the dirty things, kind of a glue guy. But as he told our players this afternoon, man, he's always got the green light, you know? So we'll see, man. But Chase, I'm happy you're here, man, and appreciate your support in this. All right, so UTEP, here we go, man. Why is Joe Golding sitting here? Why did Joe Golding leave Abilene Christian and everything we've built? It hasn't been an easy decision. But let me tell you why Joe Golding's here, man. Look up at the rafters. This place has history. This place has tradition. This place knows how to win, and it's ready to win. And I know there's a lot of people out there, like Jim said in the media, saying Joe Golding's a program builder, and maybe I'm labeled that way. But I believe every institution, every program can be built a different way. I did not come to UTEP to spend 10 years in building this program. This program has already been built. My job here at UTEP is to win in year 1. And I'm going to go to work as soon as this press conference is over. The first thing I'm going to do is these guys sitting right here that we just met with the team, they're the most important thing right now is our players. We're going to get them settled out, and if they want to stay here and be Miners, then we're going to make it the best opportunity for them. And if they don't want to be Miners, we're going to help them get to the opportunity they want. From that point moving forward, we are going to recruit. This is a different model than Abilene Christian. We are going to use every resource we have out there to recruit the best players to El Paso, Texas, and to this university. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to recruit guys that fit this university. We're going to recruit guys that fit this city. and guys that want to win and guys that want to continue to hang banners. After we recruit players, we're going to build a staff. I told Jim and Dr. Wilson we're going to get the best staff in Conference USA. I have complete confidence in that. We're going to build an incredible staff. I'm working on that behind the scenes right now with great support from these two behind me, because Joe Golding is nothing without great players and a great staff, and I think we could all agree to that. The thing that I think is the most important as I researched this job and looked at this job is we got to get involvement back from the city of El Paso and from UTEP University. That's the biggest thing. This town is a basketball town. It's an athletic town. This place obviously has been packed many times before, and I can promise you right now, Joe Golding and his family is going to be involved in this community, just like our players are going to be involved in this community. You're going to see us everywhere. I truly believe, and I've seen it done, we got the blueprint at Abilene. When you invest in a community and you let a community come inside of it, and you let a community get involved, and you let students get involved, these seats are going to get filled. And there's no secret to why these banners are hung. This place used to be packed, and nobody would come to El Paso, Texas to play in the Don. They wanted no part of this place. And we have to continue to work hard each and every day to get butts back in these seats, man, and get this place rocking where nobody wants to come. So I think that's a big part and a big selling point to me, to Jim and Dr. Wilson. That's not easy. That doesn't happen overnight. Just like I told our players, we have to continue each day to build relationships, and we will continue to do that until this sucker's filled. I think researching this job, growing up in Midland, Texas, I'm a West Texas boy. I in this process was just kind of thrilled a little bit when I kept seeing 915 area code numbers popping back up. I felt like I was back at home, I was born and raised in West Texas. It's home to me. I think this fit is really good. I grew up in elementary and junior high when Coach Haskins was still coaching the minors. I understand everything he was about. I've watched Glory Road about 100 times. I got my picture taken today in front of the national championship trophy, and I got goosebumps and almost cried. The man's a legend. He built this place. I know his wife Mary is still here in town, and son Steve, and I look forward to going there and seeing them as soon as possible because they built this place. But then you look at the history after Coach Haskins. You look at Billy Gillespie and what he was able to do here, who's become a good friend of mine over the last 5 or 6 years. You look at after Billy, Doc Sadler, who's just an incredible man of character, an incredible man, a credible coach, a guy that loves El Paso. I promise you, I talked to him this morning. He loves this city, he loves this school, and he loves this basketball program and takes a lot of pride in it and wants it back to where it belongs. After Coach Sadler, you had Coach Darby, who did a tremendous job of continuing the excellence that those two other guys before him did. Coach Darby played an exciting brand of basketball that continued to win at a high level. And then after him, the Godfather himself, Tim Floyd, or he'll call himself the Godfather. I think we'd all agree Coach Haskins probably is, but Coach Floyd might disagree. But let me tell you guys a funny story. Coach Floyd called me after the University of Texas game. I'd never met Coach Floyd, never talked to Coach Floyd. He called me to talk about our win over the University of Texas. And as you can understand, when you beat Texas in the first round of the NCAA tournament, your phone goes crazy. I had a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, but when I saw Coach Floyd there, I was like, man, this is Coach Floyd. I got to call Coach Floyd, because Coach Floyd meant something to me growing up in West Texas and everything he had done. And I called Coach Floyd back, and Coach Floyd talked to me about how impressed he was of our team and how well we played defensively and how hard our guys played and how well we played together and our bench energy and our culture and how that's how his teams, he always wanted his teams to play that way. And I thanked him, and we talked about getting up to visit sometime this summer and catching up and just him swapping stories about his journey and me continue to be a young coach and learn. Come to fruition, man, 2 weeks later, this job opens up, and Coach Floyd calls me back and says, hey, do you have any interest in UTEP? And I said, Coach Floyd, I'll get in my car right now and drive to El Paso, you know. I would love to be the head coach at UTEP. So it's so funny how it works. You know, you answer a phone call, you make a phone call back, and then 2 weeks later, Coach Floyd is helping me become the head coach at UTEP. So just wanted to mention that. Last person is Coach Terry. Coach Terry is a good friend of mine. I think Coach Terry is a first-class guy. I think Coach Terry left this this program in a good place. This program is not broken. He's been a tremendous asset to me over the last 2 or 3 days here as this thing has gotten serious. And I just want to appreciate him. I talked to him this morning. He loves El Paso. He loves you guys. He took an opportunity that he decided was best for him and his family, and we support him in that. But it opened the door to me and my family being here, and we couldn't be happier. I told him thank you today. The only thing I didn't like he left me was the University of Kansas on the schedule. I told him thanks for that, and I'll send him a picture when we're in Allen Fieldhouse, you know, in a year. So that's it. That's Joe Golding, and that's what I'm about. I'm about relationships, real relationships. I told my guys I'm not going to use the word culture here because I don't want to be on all those videos all across the country, but culture is easy for coaches to say, but it's very, very hard to do. Culture is building relationships every single day, every hour of the day with your players, and getting your players to trust you and getting your players to perform. I think if you can coach guys hard. You can still coach guys hard today. We're going to coach our team really, really, really hard, but we're going to love our guys a lot harder off the floor. That's something I believe in. It's something that I've seen work, and I'm excited to do that blueprint here. The last thing I will say, besides being really cool to drive in on Glory Road and get to the dawn today and this morning, it's been a long, exhausting day, but we couldn't be happier. I will say this, the first thing I'm doing is worried about my players tonight and in the morning and taking care of these guys, but I will be at Lucy's Cafe, I can promise you, in the morning at 8:30 to pay tribute to the legend, Coach Haskins. I will be there, man, at 8:30 in the morning, and anybody in El Paso, Texas that wants to come see Joe Golding, come on, man. Just bring enough money to buy season tickets, and I'll buy your breakfast, man. But I'm going to Lucy's Cafe, and I hope you see you there. Thanks, guys.
Okay, we do have a phone right here. We've got some people on the line. I think they may have some questions for Coach Golding before we go to the media who are here in attendance. But does anybody on the phone have a question for Coach?
I'm doing great. You?
First and foremost, congrats on your new gig at UTEP. We're wishing you the best success with the Miners going forward from Abilene to El Paso. And as you're being introduced there as the Miners' new head coach, your old associate coach, Brett Tanner, has just been introduced to replace you as the new head coach at ACU. Just curious, what do you think that he can bring to the table as a head coach for the Wildcats, and what do you think about the prospect of UTEP potentially going head-to-head against the Wildcats and Tanner in the future?
Yeah, first of all, I think on that, I take a lot of pride in Coach Tanner being named the head coach. I think we did this thing the right way, and when you do things the right way, people get rewarded for it. So it's a great day for my family and I. I want to say this again. I couldn't be more excited to be a UTEP Miner and be the head basketball coach here. ACU will always be dear to my heart. It's a place that gave me a chance. It gave me an opportunity, and I will always be thankful for everything that Abilene Christian did. But today, professionally, it may be the most excited, I guess, I've been with Brett Tanner being named the head coach. He's family to us. He's been with us from the get-go building that program. He's a great ball coach, but he doesn't want any of the UTEP Miners. I can promise you that, man.
Do you have any more questions on the phone? Okay. So I know Vinny's got the microphone, and he'll pass it around. And again, please, if you have a question, speak in the microphone and identify yourself, your name and media outlet, so Coach can get to know everybody.
Hey, Coach. Brett Bloomquist, El Paso Times. You say every building job's a little different. You're not going to do this exactly like you did Abilene Christian. What's your assessment of where things are right now and what UTEP needs to do, what you've got to do to take the next step?
Yeah, I think we're still figuring that out. I think player meetings started today. I think everybody knows the world we're living in the transfer portal. College basketball changed 2 or 3 weeks ago. Right now, it could help us, continue to recruit and fill this roster, and a year from now it might hurt us, when guys choose to leave. So I think you could be on both sides of that, but that would probably be unfair for me to answer until I get in here and get in the weeds and figure out what we need and what we need to recruit and what we need to do off the floor to get this community involved. But I'm excited about everything that Jim said to me, everything that Dr. Wilson said to me. I have seen here since I've landed. Everything has been the truth. They haven't hid from anything. And they believe, like I do, that this is one of the best college basketball programs in the country, and we plan to put UTEP right back on the map.
Morning, Coach, or afternoon. Mike Cuviello from The Prospector. You had a certain kind of system that you ran at Abilene Christian, and much of it is credited to the coach that just took the job. Do you plan on basically running a similar system here, or is there something that may be unique to UTEP compared to Abilene Christian?
Yeah, we want to win, and we'll run whatever system wins basketball games. It's as simple as that, you know. We found a niche to us at Abilene Christian that worked for us. We recruited to that model, and we played to that model, but UTEP's a different deal. So we're going to recruit the best players, and then we'll figure out what they do best on both sides of the floor, because at the end of the day, the main objective is to win, and win the right way. So we're not in bed with anything as far as this is the way we're going to do offense or this is the way we're going to do defense. I will say this, the way we play defense is something we've been doing a long time. I don't think that will change, and I think that fits this community and it fits this school. And you got to defend to win games. You know, it's kind of like football. Coach Dane Dimmel's around here somewhere, but appreciate Coach coming, man. Can't wait for Saturdays in the beautiful Sun Bowl, by the way. I'm a big football fan, man. My brother-in-law is the head football coach at SMU and worked with Dana, and so I'm excited to get out there, just like I am at every sport. I met Kevin Baker. He's somewhere in here, too, I think, an old D2 guy, man. So glad to share an office with him. But again, to your question, man, I just want to win, and I think our players want to win. And so we're going to find out what works at UTEP, what works with our roster, and we're going to go win games.
Adrian Ochoa, ABC7. Coach, 2010 was the last time UTEP was in the NCAA tournament. Just your thoughts on that, and what is it going to take to hopefully get the Miners dancing again?
Yeah, it takes hard work. It takes consistency. It takes accountability. It takes discipline by just our players and our staff. And then it takes a community and a student body and a university that wants to win. And this university is on board. This university wants UTEP basketball back on top. I know this city. I can tell by meeting people today. I can tell. You saw me earlier today. I still fired up a little bit, you know, even now. So this community wants to win. This community wants to get the Dawn back fired up and the seats filled and the energy in here. And that's what we're going to do. So I don't think it's going to take long. I'm not going to sit up here and promise you anything, but I can tell you right now we're going to work. As soon as you guys quit asking me questions, I'm going to get to work and get on the phone and do what I do best, and that's recruit and get around my players and get ready to win some basketball games.
Coach Andy Morgan, KTS 79 Sports. You mentioned what made this job lucrative for you and the history and tradition, all that. What about the here and now? Why is this job lucrative right now for you, and why was it the best fit?
I think fit. Fit was the biggest thing. I'm from West Texas. I visited El Paso. I haven't been here a ton, like 10 or 15 times in my life. But when they talked about the Franklin Mountains, I understood what that meant. I know this community. When you talk about Lucy's Cafe, I understand what that means, and not a lot of people do, to the history of that. And so I think the fit is very important. I feel comfortable here. This is a family-oriented town, and I'm a family guy, not only with my players, but also with my wife and my kids, but I'm a people's person. I like to go around town and shake hands. I believe in people that work hard. I believe in people that bounce back from adversity. I believe in people that have visions and dreams and go achieve them and chase them through hard work. And that's why this is a fit. This fits Joe Golding. This fits his family. I think also I just have so much appreciation for the history of this basketball program in this university. You know, from Coach Haskins on, that was a big part of my life growing up. I would turn on the TV and see this place packed, and always honestly wanted to be a UTEP Miner from time to time. I just wasn't any good. You know, true story. You know, I used to tell our players one time, but I averaged 4 points a game and like 3 assists. When you do that, you live in 6 or 7 cities and 9 different houses. You know, when you average 20 points a game and 1 assist, you become an AD. You know, and make the big money and live in one house. So as much as I want our guys to share the basketball and team basketball and get involved, man, if you want to be an AD, shoot the sucker every time. You know.
Coach Colin Dieter with KTSM here.
Hey, by the way, Colin, I got your voicemails and I've gotten your text messages, man, but I swore to secrecy.
Yeah.
You've done a really, really, really good job, man. I don't know how you found all that stuff, man, but I got a lot of appreciation for you, man. You worked really, really hard at your job.
Let me just say I wouldn't have answered my calls either if I were you. So I just wanted to ask you, obviously, you guys beat Texas in the NCAA tournament. That started an entire chain reaction of events that kind of ended up with you here at UTEP. Was that your plan when you guys beat Texas to get you to UTEP, or have you considered that at all over the course of the last couple weeks?
I know where you're going, man. He is my best friend. I think that's been very well documented out there. He did start some things, but I think I've done a lot for him too. You know, I think it goes both ways. But Coach Beard is a very, very good friend of mine. We've had a 20-year relationship. It's a real relationship. It's not just basketball. We talk life. We've been through a lot together, both ups and downs. But it's been a special 2 weeks for us. You know, obviously Coach Beard getting to go to his dream job at the University of Texas, and then you know, the last 3 weeks has been a little crazy, full of ups and downs. And at the very end of it, man, you end up at a place that you belong. It's just amazing for both of us. So again, Coach Beard is a very, very good friend. He's a great coach, but I think I did a little bit to help him too.
Coach, my name is Luis Barrio, and I'm an independently based reporter. I wanted to ask you, you were at Abilene Christian when it went from D2 to D1, and obviously there's that 4-year postponement where you have to abide. But you more than made up for it by making it to the tournament. What does that do to a man? What does that do to the coach and his team? And do you take anything with you from that here to Utah?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. Number one, you were part of that journey. You know, you were out there a little bit. You know, and it was great to see you earlier today. And glad you're doing well. Obviously, you know the story very well. But I think it made me a better coach. I had to learn. It was very difficult. The hardest thing I've ever done professionally was to transition from a Division II to a Division I, and not just any Division II. We weren't very good. We didn't have a lot of support. There was a lot of apathy there. People didn't like men's basketball. Not didn't like it, but they just didn't support it. Didn't care for it. And then you make the huge jump to go to Division I. And we told people we were going to the NCAA tournament 6 or 7 years ago. They laughed at us in our face. And so now you look at where we're at. We're building a $48 million arena, practice facility, weight room, you know, everything there. 2 NCAA tournament wins, 3 20-win seasons in a row for the first time in 100 years. We've built a real program there. So I learned to be a real good coach. I learned to be humble. I learned to get my butt kicked and what it feels like to be on the other side of that. I learned to continue to grind, continue to work, that sometimes adversity makes us all better. Adversity brings opportunity. And I think it taught me a ton of lessons in life like that, that we all want something quickly and fast. UTEP fans in El Paso and fans here today at this press conference want to win yesterday, and I get that, and so do I. Sometimes in situations that doesn't work, and ACU was one of those places where it just took a little bit more time. But I mentioned this earlier, I don't think it's the case here at UTEP. I think we can win right away.
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry. Coach Golding, welcome to El Paso. I'm Nate Ryan. I'm with KVIA ABC 7. Realized you just touched down a couple hours ago. Inevitable question here. Have you started making any decisions about your coaching staff here with the Miners?
You know, I'm working on that a little bit, but nothing official. And then obviously want to give the opportunity for the staff members that are here at UTEP. I want to meet with them. There's still some guys that are employed by UTEP and then want to stay here. So we're still navigating that. And then obviously I have guys that have been with me a long time at Abilene Christian, and we've won a lot of games together and have built a lot of trust. And so I want to make sure that everybody's taken care of. So this will be a process. It will play out over the next week or two here, maybe a little bit longer, but we want to make sure we get it right. We just don't want to hire a guy to hire a guy. We want to make sure we do our due diligence and that those guys are fit this university and they fit this basketball program. But as you guys can imagine, it's been a crazy 24 hours here since this, I guess not even 24 hours, 12 hours since this has been released, and we're going to build the best staff, I can promise you that. There's a lot of people that want to be UTEP Miners.
Coach Abel Rodriguez with Mineros en Español. Bienvenido a El Paso, Texas, to you and your familia. I just want to ask you if you have any knowledge on the local scene as far as basketball in El Paso, high school level basketball. This part of Texas doesn't get very much press, but they're very competitive, especially this year in basketball. Quite a few prospects out there locally, you know, and who knows what you could pick up here in town.
Yeah, recruiting's changed. You know, you can recruit anywhere in the world now with the internet, but I will tell you this, we're going to start in Texas, and if we're going to start in Texas, we're going to start in El Paso. You know, I got to probably be careful here with compliance and recruiting stuff, but there are good players here, especially some young good players in this city, and we're going to get after them. We're going to recruit them. If we don't get them, hopefully we get them on the return. If we don't get them on the return, we're going to wish them luck, and we're going to support them, you know. But there's really good basketball here. There's great coaches here. Back when I was in Midland, Texas, we would come here and play these teams. If not in non-district, we would play them in the playoffs. I know the tradition here. I know the kind of basketball they play here. And again, I think I'm going to get a really, really good look at that too with my 8th grade son. I can't promise you he'll be a starter, but I can promise you he's coachable. He'll do everything you want. He's a culture guy, and we're going to work on him. So hopefully we can go visit every single high school, if that's not an NCAA violation, because I'm actually just trying to check the school with my kid, right? And make sure that we find the right place. But yeah, we're definitely going to start here in El Paso, and then we're going to recruit the great state of Texas. This is one of the best basketball states in the country. There's great basketball coaches in the state. There's great basketball players, and we will definitely start here.
We have time for some more questions if anyone has anything else.
I'm Kevin Lovell from KBI TV ABC 7. When you won the big game, the game over the University of Texas, you went viral, obviously. There's a lot of video. I just wondered if you'd be willing just to give us a short little sample of that dance you did. Just a little bit. We're all rolling. We're ready to go.
I shared this with Jim and Jeff and Julie and Dr. Wilson, just so we have a background on this. Each year our team goes on these team retreats, and we spend a couple days with each other bonding. And in that, we have a sacrifice. We give up something of ourselves for the betterment of the group. So this year, I gave up Twitter, all right, which was a blessing. It was unbelievable, and I loved every minute of it, not being on Twitter. And when the season was over, we actually got beat by UCLA, and we get back on the bus, and we have a text thread with our whole staff and players, and I text them on there, hey, the sacrifices are over now, whatever your sacrifice was, the season's over, man, get after it, man. And so 2 players came from the back of the bus, and they came down and said, Coach, man, we got to tell you something, man. We've been waiting a month or 2 to tell you this, but this dance video is going viral, man. It's all over the place, so everybody was making fun of me for probably 2 months, and I had no idea, So, it's amazing. And you want to be known as a great coach and a guy that, really good X's and O's, a good recruiter that puts a good team on the floor, that represents its university the right way, that represents its community and makes them proud and hangs banners. And at the end of the day, right now, Joe Golding's known for having a hole in his butt in the Kentucky game in the suit, and then a dance video, man. So here we go, man. You didn't know you were hiring that guy, Jim, did you?
Any more questions? Thank you, Coach.
Anybody on the phone have any questions before we turn over to the one-on-ones? Okay. Thank you all for coming. If you want to have some one-on-ones with Coach.